Hey guys, let's discuss two new and very exciting Apple products that are coming out in the future. These have a lot of hype behind them, lots of news, so I'm very excited to show you our new concepts of the iPhone SE 2 and the Apple Watch Series 4. We're going to be talking about all of the latest leaks and rumors behind them and some really exciting new technology coming to the Apple Watch Series 4 and of course future Apple products as well, micro LED. So I wanted to start by discussing this concept. Obviously it's not very traditional, it's something very different. It's using the basic design of the iPhone SE. And of course, it's something Apple would never do to a budget end model, and it's using tech that they haven't even used on any of their higher end phones yet. But I wanted to talk about this for just a second. So we just wanted to throw this out there, our dream definition of the iPhone SE and what we would have liked it to look like. So on the display, what you're looking at, this is actually Apple's patented technology that would allow for literally screen to be everywhere on the display, and you'd be able to hide sensors underneath the glass like a camera and the actual ambient light sensor, but the earpiece would still need a direct cutout. So we just decided to leave a cutout for all of those right now just for demonstration purposes. You can look at it and it looks really cool. And this is where Apple eventually might go with their future iPhones. It's very, very futuristic, hard to do, probably impossible right now, but we're getting there. And Apple has a patent that's been granted to it to make this possible. So we just wanted to put it into this concept to give you a visual of what Apple could bring in the future. So I thought that was pretty cool. On the back, we're looking at pretty conventional stuff for Apple. We've got the lens that we took from the iPhone 8 series, popped it onto here. It's got a glass back now. Of course, the iPhone SE branding looks all around pretty cool. And of course, that new rose blush gold color from the iPhone 8 on the iPhone SE. So this is our dream iPhone SE, what we would have liked Apple to do. Will they do this? Absolutely not. I mean, this is a low-end budget model. For Apple to put so much tech and care and expensive stuff into a low-end model, it's just not going to happen. But we would have liked it to. Now, in a nutshell, the rumors surrounding the iPhone SE 2 right now, what we can expect from it is really not much in terms of radical redesign. It'll still mostly look like the usual iPhone SE that we have right now. There will be some slight cosmetic differences such as a glass back, and because of that glass back, it will have wireless charging. So that did come in earlier last month, and from the same source, they're saying that it might have a 4.2-inch display, so slightly larger than the current one. They might expand upon that just a little, maybe give it some of the newer tech from the iPhone 7 and above displays, the P3 color gamut. It'll still have a home button, they're saying, so that means it'll still have Touch ID. It will not be getting Face ID. Again, this is a budget model, so it's not going to have the latest and greatest because Apple does have to keep the costs down. So overall, it'll look the same, might have a new color. The glass back, of course, it'll have a 12 megapixel camera, but it will be using a newer version from a newer iPhone. Unknown if that's iPhone 7 or 8, probably 7 series to keep costs low, but it supposedly should not protrude. This is a thicker iPhone, so there definitely is room inside to put that lens in there, although our concept reflects a protrusion, so I don't think that looks too bad on this either. But again, the flat slab design looks really cool, and for it to be completely flat and have a glass back, this is going to be the closest thing to an iPhone 4 and 4S, well, since that phone anyways. As for the predictions of specs from analysts, the iPhone SE 2 will be pretty low end, but still have some great upgrades over the iPhone SE. It's likely to keep 2 gigabytes of RAM, not gain an additional one, although that would have been nice. iOS 11 is pretty demanding with resources. Also, it will be upgrading the processor to most likely the Apple A10 chip, not the A11, just to keep costs low and keep a direct barrier in between phones in terms of performance. And there's a rumor that we will be seeing a slightly larger battery, 1750 milliamps versus the current 1642. Not much of a difference, but pair that with the actual more efficient internals, and that's going to be a pretty killer combo when it comes to battery life. Now, those are the latest design and spec rumors, but the truth is the actual certainty of the iPhone SE 2 actually happening is unknown. I mean, back and forth. We're just going back and forth between analysts that are saying it is coming very soon or it's not coming. Apple's focusing on the iPhone, the different iPhone lineup this year. They want to keep phone sizes above 4.7 inches. So there is a lot of confusion about whether or not this thing will be happening. But if it were to happen, when would it be released? Analysts tend to agree that it would have a release date about May to June. So that falls in line with a WWDC announcement date. But there is a possibility, a very tiny one actually, that it could happen at the March 27th event, which is focused on budget and lower end stuff for Apple for students that go to college and stuff like that. So an iPhone SE 2 seems to fall into that category where it would be a cheaper iPhone. But yeah, again, that is unlikely. That's just a wild card that it might happen there. Most likely at WWDC, if it will even happen at all. And there is a new rumor that just dropped yesterday from TechZ24 that Apple will be producing the iPhone SE 2 exclusively in India. And this is because of a partnership between the Indian government and Apple, where in order to sell used iPhones there, which they're there is a very big market for, they actually have to produce new ones there as well. So could be seeing those coming exclusively from India. And actually, lastly, I wanted to show you Martin Hajek's concept of the iPhone SE2. This is a very simple one. This is most likely what we're going to be seeing from the iPhone SE2. A larger camera bump on the back, glass back, same screen on the front, home button. Basically, this is the iPhone SE2, 90% of what it would be if it were to happen. But I wanted to move on to the Apple Watch 4. Lots of hype and big news about this device just a few days ago. It will be sporting a micro LED display. That'll be a first for Apple, as Apple has been developing this technology since they acquired a company that specializes in it in 2014. We're going to get to the benefits of micro LED here in just a second, but I wanted to focus on this concept. So we took an Apple Watch 3 series, the same shell, we haven't changed that. We worked on the display. Since Apple will be incorporating micro LED, I thought, hey, this would be a good opportunity for them to go edge to edge on it and look a lot like the iPhone 10. So we've got an edge to edge organic LED or micro LED display here on an Apple Watch. It looks absolutely gorgeous. And even though I can't really tell where the display ends on my current Series 3, it would just be nice to have a little bit more display, and Apple could certainly do this because the battery life on my Series 3 is really, really good. I mean, just a little bit more display shouldn't affect it too much. And also on the back, we changed the sensor. So personally, the worst part about the Apple Watch experience is that it's a little uncomfortable because of how thick it is. It's only been getting thicker since the Series 1 edition, as the sensor on the back of the Apple Watch is a very thick point, and we slimmed that down a little bit, spread it out, and now it's a square shape to go, a little bit more in line with the design. So we thought that if Apple could make that change, that this Series 4 would be much more comfortable to wear on the wrist, even though it's not too uncomfortable, but it is pretty thick. I think Apple could definitely improve that. The actual chassis, though, hasn't changed at all, so it's the same shape overall. The Apple Watch has outsold all competing smartwatches last year. That is crazy. I mean, it's been growing. A lot of people called the Apple Watch a failure at first, and now it is so big. So it's very important for Apple to keep this momentum up. And what better way to do that than to introduce a new screen technology, which eventually will make its way over to an iPhone, much like they did with the Apple Watch OLED display, which eventually went to the iPhone 10. They're starting with micro LED. So I wanted to explain this. Micro LED is vastly superior to organic LED because, well, several reasons. It's more battery efficient. You can get a sharper resolution on it. The actual panel is thinner versus an organic LED display, which is even thinner than an LCD. So you have more room inside the phone now to work with battery life, stuff like that, which is great. Also, the blues on an organic LED display, the blue pixels, are the ones to go out first. On a micro LED, it does not have that problem. So the longevity of the display is better as well. The pixel structure, first off, it's a sharper display because it's not using this weird diamond subpixel structure like the current OLED on the iPhone 10. It's using a regular rectangular version, and it's going to be a little bit smaller and crisper, and thus you can get a higher resolution on a micro LED. So that's the front view. From the side, we can see that it is thinner versus a standard organic LED display, and again, you get more room for internals because of this. So a report from Bloomberg is claiming that Apple has a secret facility in California where they're working on micro LED displays, and they actually have a fully functioning Apple Watch using this display already. And supposedly there is a new feature coming to the Apple Watch Series 4 that could potentially save your life. It's an electrocardiogram. You'll be able to squeeze the frame of your Apple Watch. It'll send an electrical current signal up through your arm and detect any abnormalities in the heart rate. So that could potentially save your life if you were having some sort of issues with it. And by the way, speaking about heart abnormalities, just wanted to bring over Broking for a quick thank you. So we were able to get enough to cover his expenses and help his family out while he's going to be having his downtime. So this is probably the last concept and render that we'll have for a while, I think.
Just wanted to say thanks to everyone that contributed and for all the support. It really means a lot.
Oh yeah, definitely. Thank you guys so much. So yeah, back to the video. There's a really neat patent that Apple was just awarded for the Apple Watch. It could charge your Apple Watch on the go. It's like a traveling case, and any bands. And the interesting thing is that it could charge the band. So there could possibly be some new Apple Watch bands with built-in functionality. That could be pretty interesting to see. And I definitely think a traveling case would be a very good idea. And I wanted to show you a very neat Watch OS 5 concept by Birchtree. It details a smarter Siri view that she would be able to show you even more stuff on this page, a redesigned watch face, and support for third-party watch faces. And a really cool idea that they had is an ambient watch face, so an always-on watch face that utilizes that organic LED display, and it doesn't take too much battery life, but it will always have the watch face on. I thought that was a really neat idea. I'm wondering why Apple didn't do that yet, because the battery life on the Series 3 is pretty dang good, and I think could support this easily. And they also detailed a sleep tracker, which I probably wouldn't use. I mean, my Apple Watch is charging overnight, not on my wrist, but either way, really cool concept. it. All right, guys, so there it is. That is our concept of the Apple Watch 4 and the iPhone SE 2. Really neat stuff. Wanted to say thank you to the Bro King and thank you to you guys once again for all your support. It's really nice to know that there are so many people out there that care. So thanks so much, guys. Stay tuned for the next one, which actually might be in a while here. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this one. Peace.